Like I said earlier, we have got G Major representing Earth Tone, American Grime, straight out of Queens to London. She's in the building. We're going to get into a quick interview, talk about what she's got going on right now, get into some rhythms that she's got coming out on her latest project, Major Moves, out in December. Then we're going to get into some bars.
Let's do it.
G Major, what you telling me, man? You good?
I'm alive. How you doing?
I'm good. So let's get straight into it. No dilly, no dally. So talk to me. You are an American shower MC, cross genre, hip hop, grime, and whatever fits in the tempo range. But explain to me, because I want to know, how the fuck did you find grime? Coming from Queens.
No, that's a good question. It's kind of a simple answer. There's a big underground bass community in New York City. So I've been a hip hop artist for years. Like I've been doing this for like 12 years. But my leisure was going out to the bass scene. And so I was going to a lot of dubstep shows and 140 parties and things like that. And essentially the DJs started blending grime into dubstep. And I was going just to party and to dance, but because I kind of assimilated into the bass community so well, I started getting booked to do hip hop acts at electronic events. So I got booked one night at a dubstep showcase, and I performed. I did my hip hop set, and then my boys were DJing. They've been DJing 140 for years. And there was another MC on, Dutch Guts, who also does grime. And basically, I was a little wavy after I performed. I had a few drinks, and my boy Ions was like, "Yo, just go up there." And I was like, "I don't know how to do that. I don't know what he just did. I don't know what's going on." He was like, "Nah, just freestyle." And it was a low key party. I was like, "Okay, I'll go make a fool of myself." And I went up there, and that was the most free I've ever felt on stage. I freestyled, and I'm not gonna lie, I hit a pocket, and I was like, what the hell is, I didn't even know it was grime that I was doing. In my eyes, I was just spitting over 140, And then after that night, I was like, yo, I want to do more of that. But me and my boys were all chilling the next day, and we kind of felt an energy from that performance, and we built Earth Tone based off that party, within a few days. And Earth Tone was originally supposed to be a collective of hip hop, dubstep, grime, anything anyone wanted to play. But it took a turn, and we just went straight grime 140.
Wow. So
yeah.
I'm intrigued to know, because this dynamic, I always find it so interesting. What is it about grime that made it stand out and want to incorporate into the sound that you're doing?
It was definitely the feeling I felt performing it live. I think that everyone can agree that the energy of grime can only really be felt live. You can listen to tracks and get hype, but you're hype off those tracks because you know what these artists do when they're on stage. You know what I mean? So I was doing hip hop sets for mad long, and I make a lot of different types of music. Some of it's R&B, some of it's lo-fi. There's some of it's trap. And I was having a really hard time streamlining my sets, because you want a set that is cohesive and kind of flows. And once I started doing grime, I was like, this flows no matter what, because it's going. You just have to keep going. You know what I mean? So the minute I started doing grime, for me, it was the live thing. That was the most free I've ever felt on stage. I was like, I could do whatever I want right now, and to me, it's like jazz. You know what I mean? It starts somewhere, and you don't know where it's gonna end. And I'm a competitor. I'm an athlete at heart. I played basketball my whole life. To me, grime is a sport. So I'm with it because of that. The competitive aspect of it.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because you know what? Especially the live element. That's where you experience grime in its purest essence. Especially when I can imagine for yourself, you've never heard this music before, and the DJ is filling in the rhythms. You don't know what's coming in next, and you just gotta keep the energy in the room moving. Yeah, no, I rate that so highly. So yeah, I want to ask you. Yeah, so I want to know your influences, come into this music thing, but obviously you started as a hip hop act,
Yeah.
then later on found grime. So reel off some like people that influenced your career, hip hop wise and grime wise.
All right, well, hip hop wise, like growing up, I was really, really influenced by Lauryn Hill. Also Eminem, just for his wordplay and his lyrical ability. And then like aesthetic wise, I was really influenced by Missy Elliott and like her music videos, and kind of like she made like hip hop weird, like her and Busta Rhymes, and like I like weird beats. Like I've always liked weird beats. Even when I was making hip hop, like my shit sounded left of center. So grime to me is a little bit left of center. So like it kind of slowly flowed into that. In terms of grime influences, like P Money is definitely a huge influence for me. I really, really, really love Big Zoo. I'm really into storytelling. So storytelling is the essence of like my hip hop journey. So like Big Zoo and like R.I.P. but Cadet, like when I heard Closure by Cadet, that was like it for me. Like I was like, you can tell stories in this way, like this perfectly and this bluntly, and like there's just, yeah, it's really, I find that grime has an authenticity about it, because you're going to get judged on if you're authentic in grime. Like hip hop, you can kind of say whatever you want and be flashy, you know what I mean? But like people are listening to what you say when you spit grime, so like it has to be real or people are gonna know.
Yeah, I feel you. And you know what? Now that you say that, in terms of who you're influenced by grime-wise and that you're into the storyteller, that makes all the sense, because especially Cadet, R.I.P., like his biggest tracks, like Scare or Closure, like these are deep storytelling, conceptual tracks where they, you know, especially Big Zoo as well, he does the storytelling thing, and P Money, like pure expression, but still able to capture the raw energy and the grime energy, but still get their story out. So I feel you. So let me know about like, you know, the Earth Tone thing, and how did you, obviously you started off as like, you know, a member of Earth Tone, but how did you end up, you know, linking up and building with the American Grime? Because that's how I come across your music, through the American Grime Collective. So
Earth Tone, I'm a founder of Earth Tone along with my partner Ions, who's an amazing DJ and producer. Earth Tone started in 2015, and we've been throwing parties in New York City like for time. Like that's what we've been doing. We've been throwing grime and dubstep events like since 2015. That's been our main focus. Like if you think Earth Tone, you think grime and dubstep. Like American Grime, Jumanji's from Miami, and he just hit me up. I think it was 2018 the first time he came down here in January. It might have been the beginning of 2019 actually. And he just hit me up and asked me if I wanted to come on tour with them out here to do radio.
Have you even met him at this point?
Oh, yes. So what happened was this. I had a track. Anyway, it was off my last EP. And actually, Reese West was supposed to be on it. He actually wrote a verse to it. And then I had a vision for the track. I really wanted to do like my verse, Reese's verse, and then do an 8 for 8 after. But he left New York. Like we threw him a party in New York. He came to New York. We threw him a collab party with Oblique. So we were doing a lot of work with Oblique while he was in New York. Mm-hmm. And I really like had a vision for a music video, and Reese didn't do the back and forth 8 for 8 for me, and to me the song wasn't done. So I actually scrapped it and hit up Jumanji the next time he came to the city. I was like, yo, I want to finish this track. It was an 091 beat. It was a fire beat, so I was hype on it. And so Jumanji came through for the first time. We wrote mad quick, and we just caught a vibe. And so that was it. Like, we wrote to Anyway. We shot a music video. He went back to Miami. Then he hit me up before they did the American Grime tour. So I just pulled up with them.
Oh, so it's just all natural, just come together, just seamless, really.
Yeah, totally.
Love that. Right, so I've got a couple of your tunes taken off the project Major Moves, right?
Yep, Major Moves.
When is
December
that?
4th.
December the 4th. All right. So I'm going to get into the first track of the project entitled Bruh. Who produced this? This is an interesting production. Sounds like a bit of garage, garage drums with a bit of grime and dubstep.
So you probably know the producer. He's from Canada, actually, Maxwell. I don't know if you've heard his beats before.
Oh, I've got a couple of his new ones in the bag. Yeah.
So Maxwell and Krev, his other boy, from his record label. So they produced this.
Lovely. All right, we're gonna get into it. It's entitled Bruh. Don't go nowhere. On the other side, get into some more questions. You know what it is? Mo.London. That one is a banger.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, so I want to know a bit more of like the journey in terms of incorporating grime into your sound.
Cool.
So you discovered grime, what, 3 or 4 years ago, right?
2015 was the first time I ever heard it.
Wow.
5 years
So
ago, yeah.
how was that journey for you as already, you know, into your career, set in the hip hop thing? Like, how was that journey for you? Because I can imagine, you know, some of your people, your audience, they're used to a certain thing. Now all of a sudden you've got a new sound, and this might have been like the first time they're hearing it. How was that whole journey for you?
Yo, I'm not gonna front. Like, it was difficult. Like, there was a lot happening behind the scenes. Like, okay, essentially, me and Earth Tone were throwing parties immediately when we formed, but I didn't know what I was doing. Like no cap. Like, I was going on stage while we were throwing, while they were playing 140, and trying to like revert my hip hop bars to fit, and it wasn't working at first. Like, it took me a year or two to learn how to approach the beat like you guys. Like, it took me a minute. Like, it's a total different approach.
So give me like a scope into this. So like when you're trying to convert these hip hop bars into a grime setting, like what BPM range are we talking like?
Well, I write a lot of trap music, so there was some crossover in terms of BPM that I can make it work. But there was only a select, few bars. Like, the first verse I remember writing, I still spit it sometimes, but, I've progressed a lot since, but I was very intimidated. I had to host events and perform monthly, because we were throwing monthly events without actually feeling comfortable on grime.
That's a lot of pressure.
It's a lot of pressure. Yeah, I went up there, and there's times I ran out of breath, and then there's times where I'm like, damn, I'm not hitting the pocket right. Like, I always reverted back to that first night that I freestyled, and it was easy when I was freestyling, because you can't mess up your BPM, you're flowing when you're freestyling. Mm-hmm. But I wanted to spit bars, and I was used to spitting hip hop bars, and I'm like, damn, I need to figure out how they do this. And I had to find my own take on it, because you guys have a slang that allows you to spit a little quicker in different ways. And we American, an English speech from America, we speak differently. So I had to really find my own pocket. I've never tried to speak with British slang, but you guys have this slang that sounds really nice. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that, because you know what? One thing I say is, if you're an international doing grime, you don't have to conform to what we do and try overuse our slang like nang, in it, bless, wagot. You just be yourself.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's what I rate about you and the whole American Grime collective. From the producers to the DJs to the artists, you lot are unfiltered and are yourselves. It doesn't sound like you're trying to conform to what we're doing to keep us happy. It's just American rappers, MCs, jumping on grime beats and being themselves. So I like that a lot. I encourage that, in fact.
It was actually when I came out with Earth Tone last year, we were on Rinse with Marcus, and Marcus Nasty was like, this is New York grime. He was like, this is actually New York grime, because our DJ Ions plays a different type of selection that comes from a different approach. It has a little bit more space in it, and we flow a little differently. So he really started dubbing it New York grime, because he thinks we have a lot of hip hop influence in the way we approach it.
Lovely. So let's bring it to speed now. So you're in London, and you've been here for a while. Mashing works on the sly. I've seen you. So what brings you to London?
Yo, honestly, this is kind of the whole essence behind the Major Moves album. One of those major moves was moving here. So essentially, I had maybe 2/3 of my album done before I came here. I basically was okay. I've been working a 9-to-5 job my entire music career.
Me too.
And I quit in February.
That's a risk.
Right before the pandemic happened. I quit my job. I basically had this like mindset at one time. It was like, if you want to be a full-time artist, you have to be a full-time artist. You have to be an artist full-time. Like, and I really wanted to take it there. I wanted to give myself that opportunity because I've been working like 24/7, and I really wanted to go full-fledged into this. I basically quit my job, and COVID happened, and I got some like space to like reflect a little bit, and I was like, all right, if I know one thing, I was like, everything's shutting down, but you can socially distance on radio. I literally said this to my friends. I was like, yo, I guarantee radio doesn't shut down in London. And they're like, what are you talking about, G? I'm like, no, watch, like 2-3 people in the studio, they'll figure it out, they'll pull it off. And so I was like, I'm just gonna go release my album in London. And you know what it was? Last time I was in London in January, I was listening to a novelist interview, and novelist said in the interview, the best advice he can give is if people show you love for no reason, stay around those people, go around those people, be around those people. And every time I've come to London, from London to when I went to Outlook in Croatia, everyone has shown me love. Logan's one of them. Logan has passed me the mic 50,000 times when he didn't need to. And I was like, you know what? If I'm gonna release this album, I'm gonna release it where people are supporting me, and I've gotten mad support out here.
Sick. So, talk to me about the Major Moves project. Like, what can we expect from it, and when is it looking to land?
So December 4th comes out. I'm gonna drop my music video for Ghost then. I think what you're gonna hear from Major Moves is it's gonna be a little different from like, well, you've probably heard some of it. It's a little different from some typical grime. It sounds a bit different, and I think that's because like the beats I choose are a little bit different. 3 of the tracks were produced by Sofa Sour. He's from Russia. He's like an amazing grime producer from Russia. And we have a track from 091 on there. We have Rixta, obviously Maxwell, Krev. Who am I forgetting? I don't know if I'm forgetting anyone. That's basically it. It's Sofa Sour. Oh, and Half Breed. Half Breed is a crazy track over there. So the UK producers are 091, Half Breed, and Rixta. But what you're gonna hear from it is definitely my journey towards realizing how powerful I am. That's the whole purpose of Major Moves, really, is just like what I've done like throughout my life and the things I persevered through, and just taking an all-out risk, quitting my job and coming to London. So that's the essence of it.
Sick. Say no more. Well, right, we're gonna get into another track off the project.
Cool.
Fuck with a Kid featuring Logan, and then we're gonna get into some bars. We've got a bag of shellers waiting to spray, so we're not even gonna waste too much time.
Yo, shout out Jabs, Mickey, we got Moolah here and Logan, let's go.
And the album is out December the 4th, yeah?
Yep, next Friday.
All right, well, you heard it there, so make sure you grab that and stream them. It's out. It's Mo London. Let's go no further. Let's get into the music, man.
Let's do it.